Story 1. I cannot stop thinking about him, and unfortunately, I have mentionitis. I am sure people know I have feelings for him, even though I have not directly told anyone. It is embarrassing, really. I need to learn to keep my mouth shut, but my brain always finds a way to bring him up, and before I know it, I am saying his name all over the place. Story 2. Elevated heart rate. A strong desire to be near him, and I develop the easiest laugh when talking to him. Story 3. If I take the panties off, throw them up, and they stick to the ceiling, then I definitely know I like the guy. Story 4. I remember thinking that if we both sat in those folding chairs next to each other, watching paint dry or watching grass grow, I would still be overjoyed because I got to do it with him. Story 5. I think about him multiple times a day. When I see a fun activity or something, I think of what it would be like to do it with him. Story 6. One of my body parts tells me I am attracted to him. My brain says, wow, he is really smart. My heart says, oh my, he is really kind and empathetic. My instincts say, I bet he is very passionate. Story 7. I can't stop thinking about him. He is the person I think of inside of me when I am pleasuring myself. I speak to him often. Story 8. I think about him a lot, and if I am going to see him, I feel like Bambi frolicking around, getting giddy and nervous. As someone experiencing this for the first time in a while and who has never had a partner, it is both a wonderful and frustrating feeling. Story 9. My breathing pattern is staggered thinking about him. Everything about him, to me, is perfect regardless of how he may appear in today's societal standards. Another oddly specific one. For some reason, his name seems like the most beautiful name in existence. He wears it better than anyone. Story 10. I wasn't attracted to anyone for years, then suddenly experienced intense limerence. I literally shook with anticipation, thought about him all the time, felt tingling sensations, warmth at the base of my head, aching in my chest, and butterflies in my stomach. Before that, I noticed I liked their natural scent. This is the most important factor, and I can't tell how it will go until we meet. What I really dislike about online dating is that most men don't smell good naturally. I want one who does. Story 11. Always thinking about him. Either I love to talk to him all the time, or my brain goes crazy and I cannot talk to him anymore. Story 12. I think for me, it is when my brain short circuits when they look at me or say something to me. I end up staring at them like an idiot for a moment, and afterward, I cannot stop thinking about them. Story 13. When I see him doing what he is good at and start thinking about him grabbing my ponytail to pull me out to a happy world. Story 14. When his touch feels like fireworks on my skin and just their kisses leave me dazed. I find myself wanting to keep them updated about silly things throughout my day. Oh, if I fall asleep to thoughts of us, whether not safe for work or not. Story 15. When he can talk all day about things I would not normally listen to, I can just listen and enjoy the sound of his voice. When I look at him, I feel giddy and fuzzy inside. I just want to be near him because he always smells so good. Story 16. Need to add another one. When his voice and simply the sound of his breath because you are close enough to hear it turns you on. Story 17. Well, I kind of saw him and thought, well, that's my husband. He was working behind the bar. And the second thought was, this is going to be a wild ride. How do I tell him I am his wife? That was 7 years ago. Now we are the happiest we have ever been. Story 18. I swear, reading these comments makes me think women are more adventurous than men. They just don't show it. Story 19. When I walk into a clothing store and suddenly think, wow, this shirt would really look good on him. Or when I start getting back into an old hobby, not because I missed it, but because it feels like the only way I can connect and start a conversation with him. Story 20. My heart does that strange thing where it keeps missing a beat. Then my breathing feels rehearsed. I cannot hold back a smile, and my ears get all red and hot. I cannot stop thinking about his eyes, and do not ask me why, but I always start to care about what his mother is like. Story 21. When he does something silly and I somehow find him cute anyway. Or when I think about sitting on his attractive face. Story 22. My mind goes blank when they are around. All I can really focus on is them regardless of the setting. Story 23. I think about what I am going to wear when I see him. The eyes of the man I am attracted to right now light up when I wear pink. When I know I am going to see him, I tend to wear that color. Story 24. He makes me want to obey and submit. If we make eye contact, I feel sensations in my chest and head. We like him. My hands start to sweat during a conversation. My words escape me as I imagine everything with him in the brief moments we encounter one another. I notice his scent, his eyes, his smile, and how he looks at me. Lord, help me when they look at me like they actually like me too. The vibe is met with eyes, and both feel the vibration. Story 25. Not a popular answer, but time. If I want to spend time in that person's presence, I am attracted to them. I have been very attracted, feeling giddy and distracted, to men who turned out to be not so great humans, so I make myself chill. But if I am willing to spend time with you, I am attracted to you. Story 26. When I think about him kissing me, it does not disgust me. There is no gray area for me. Unfortunately, I rarely meet men I want to kiss. I am chronically single. Story 27. This is going to sound cheesy, but I start feeling a glow, a burning sensation in my chest, giving me the urge to get closer to him. When he is close to me, my heart speeds up. When I hear his name, when he says my name, and when he does something nice for me, my heart flutters too. Story 28. I look like a monkey who just found the nicest banana when he texts me, giggling and running around all excited. The butterflies down there. A primal, intense, violent urge to hug him so tight, I nearly become a part of him. I'm not grossed out by anything from him. Usually, I dislike people, but I want to be so close to him. Cute aggression. The guy I'm talking to has big brown eyes, but they're not as dark and are so alluring. He has long eyelashes. His eyes scared me at first because it looked like he was staring through my soul, so I avoided eye contact. I can't even put into words how he makes me feel with just his eyes. Story 29. I find myself letting my eyes linger on him, just looking. It is like I am puzzling out what exactly it is about this combination of features that is so pleasing. Story 30. He makes me want to act cute or sexy, or in a way he likes, as long as I am comfortable with it too. As a fashion-conscious person, it takes a lot. Story 31. Butterflies in my stomach, heart starts to race, and mind is filled with him. I don't know about anything past physical attraction since I don't date. Story 32. Attracted? When I keep stealing glances at his fingers and having impure thoughts. When the smell of his cologne makes me weak. Story 33. Many comments ignore the original question and instead answer, how do you know when you are obsessed with a man? Story 34. I think about him often. When I see cute videos of couples on social media, I imagine it is me and him. When listening to music, I imagine scenarios to match. For me, I do not really think about someone I genuinely like sexually. I only think about someone sexually if it is lust-based. I know I like someone when I am not thinking about being physical with them. Story 35. Sexual attraction develops slowly for me. I first notice my attraction when a friend or acquaintance just sticks in my head all day. Usually, I do a bit of light stalking, not following them home, but figuring out a rough schedule for when I have a higher chance of encountering them. My current partner worked in the same building, with overlapping shifts but in a different department. The daily schedule rarely changed, so if I finished my own work, I would take a moment to look at him or have a chat about work and life. When sexual attraction sets in, I feel almost ill. My arms go numb, I feel nauseous, I can hardly sleep, and I barely eat. I am not someone who feels strong sexual urges immediately. I need to feel connected to reach that point. But once those feelings appear, I know I am genuinely interested. I made my move by giving him a keychain related to a meme about being bad at flirting. He is a goofy guy, and I love him. Story 36. Like someone else said, I cannot stop thinking about him. My boyfriend and I reconnected after a long time, and it was by text first. Everyone would ask who I was texting because my face would light up so much. The amount of happiness I feel talking to him or hanging out with him is incredible. Just thinking about him brings me so much joy. Story 37. I mostly do whatever the person asks me. If they tell me I should like them, then I am attracted to them. It is as simple as that. Story 38. It happens that when I look at him, my mind is already on another plane. My legs tremble. My neck feels exposed. Obeying. Story 39. It depends on the kind of attraction. I am demisexual, so I do not feel sexual attraction to people that often, but I definitely feel aesthetic attraction. How would I describe it? I feel both excited and shy when seeing the person. Story 40. Attraction is not love, or is it? I know this is for women, but being attracted does not mean love. Most of these replies are about attraction, and I totally understand. Story 41. When they do something I would probably find cringeworthy in other guys, I actually find it cute and endearing. Also, when I keep thinking about little things I want to do with them or show them, like when I see something nice and think, oh, I wish this person was here to see this. It could be a place, a meme, a show, or a song. Story 42. I have many different tells. If I think about the current man I am with, in the beginning, I was trying to deny my attraction to him because I did not think he would be interested in me. I even set him up with a colleague of mine, but it did not work. When he made eye contact with me, I would feel weak in the knees. There was a time before we were dating when he was washing dishes and suddenly got close enough that I wondered if he would kiss me. I think I gasped a little. I knew I liked him whenever he sat close to me, and I felt like I was vibrating like a tuning fork. He talks a lot with a hot voice and accent, but sometimes I have to try extra hard to listen because I keep wondering how soft his hair is and what it would feel like. I was very happy in March when he asked me if I wanted to cuddle with him. Story 43. For me, it is when I want to take care of him and make sure he never struggles in life. I feel selfless and not focused on what he can do for me. If I am in love with him, chances are he is doing his best and treating me right, so I will do it all for him. Story 44. Puppy love. I couldn't stop staring at his picture and thinking about him. Real attraction. He came over to my house and didn't judge the messiness. He offered to help clean and do my laundry, all while still holding that same dangerous smile. Story 45. After reading this, why don't you tell him you're interested? Ask him out or give him your number. Quit waiting for him to make the move if you like him. To everyone saying it's the man's job or that he's instantly unattractive if he doesn't approach first. It is stuck up and unfair to hold others to a standard you refuse to meet yourself. If you won't even say hi to a stranger, you are a hypocrite to expect it in return. Story 46. If I actually care to make conversation, then I like you. Men are normally the same stuff, different face and baggage. I am trying to carry the conversation or match energy. Are you in? Story 47. I'll think about him and zone out at random points in my day. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it until people start asking me why I'm grinning and staring off into space. Along those lines, I'll have no poker face when his name shows up on my phone. There is nothing more embarrassing than realizing a moment too late that I have just giggled out of nowhere in the middle of the office while working. Story 48. For me, it starts as a vibe, a feeling of just enjoying their company. For my husband, after a few days of spending time with him, I was literally shaking with excitement, and I barely slept that night. I thought about him a lot after that. I had to ask him out. I couldn't ignore how I felt. Story 49. I think about him all the time. Every time he sends me a text or talks to me, I don't behave the same way as I do with other people. I may have sexual thoughts too, but it is rare because when I like someone, sex is the last thing I am thinking about. I want to do everything I love with him. Story 50. I have noticed that when I find men attractive, they smell like a mix of musk and sweetness to me for some reason. I do not know if this is the smell I naturally prefer or if their scent changes once I find them attractive. I also cannot stop thinking about them, feel nervous when I see them, and have a hard time maintaining eye contact. Story 51. The non-stop thinking and that one click when you talk to him or see him be like, dang, he's attractive to me. Story 52. Usually, I get a feeling in that area along with a lot of moisture when I see the man I like, especially in the gym. Story 53. Getting excited when you expect their appearance. Noticing everything about them. from the style of their hair to the shoes they are wearing that day. Being too distracted by the sound of their voice but still holding on to everything they say to replay in your head. Hearing their laugh makes your heart smile, and you have to refrain from giggling with delight to yourself or risk looking completely crazy. Story 54. I smile every time I look at my boyfriend and cannot stop smiling because of how much I love him. I get butterflies. Story 55. I like how most of these answers are either charming or bold. What I have learned is that eye contact and observing how close a girl is to you are important. I will keep that in mind as I struggle with reading nonverbal social cues. Story 56. When I look at him and suddenly my stomach feels all tingly, when I repeat what I'm going to say twice in my head before saying it out loud, and when I get all giggly and smiley around them. Story 57. One time, I literally felt my ovaries twitch. Kind of freaked me out, but generally I get the urge to bite. Story 58. Until she asked for my phone number, she just stared at me like she wanted to stab me at work. I thought I had messed up her meal for a couple of weeks and wondered why she kept coming back. I was oblivious. Story 59. I feel physically repulsed by him, but I also think about being intimate with him. I want to spend time with him constantly and get very nervous just before I see him. Strange, I know. Story 60. I feel a sense of euphoria that begins in my stomach, spreads through my body, and then both my eyes and intimate area become watery. Story 61. It takes me at least a couple of months to know if I connect with someone. I feel like a lot of the physical attraction is just biological lust and not actual liking, based on my personal experience. It takes time to see if we have similar interests and if we could be good friends. Then I really start to form a deeper bond. I can tell because this is when I care if we are compatible and aligned on how we want to live life. Before this moment, I don't care if someone is dating other people or if we don't really connect. So, if they show me who they are over time and it aligns well with me, there's a moment when I switch from being distant to wanting to be close and plan things together. Story 62. I tell terrible jokes in his presence and reveal too much. As I fall asleep, I find myself thinking about him throwing fire down and consuming me completely. Story 63. Planning and envisioning the future, I inherently see building a family or a legacy with him. I am what our Generation Z might call traditional or conservative. Story 64. Depends on your star sign. As a Capricorn, I know I am attracted when I cannot hide that all I want to do is talk to him, hang out with him, and even imagine going on a date or holding hands with him. These feelings surge after meeting once or twice, even with minimal contact. My body knows and my mind will leave signs. Story 65. I am having dreams about him. When we are together, I am aware of where he is, and I am not scared to make eye contact with him. Story 66. I get so nervous and talkative around a man I am attracted to. And if he is very attractive, I cannot help but look at him intently. I probably look like a cartoon character with heart-shaped eyes. I definitely do not hide it either. Story 67. He is in every thought I have, every daydream. I imagine scenarios with him that will likely never happen. He is constantly in my thoughts. Many of my thoughts about him are deeply intimate. Story 68. I feel calm around him. I feel anxious around most men, so when I feel a sense of calm, I know something is happening. Story 69. For me, I cannot stop thinking about him. I am constantly trying to fix my hair and everything. I get so nervous and turn red when he is around. I tend to be clumsy. I forget to speak correctly. My heart starts beating and my hands get sweaty. Story 70. I start sweating. I get nervous about how I look or if I look normal, or if I look like I am trying to act normal but they can tell I am nervous. I try to act nonchalant, but I also do not want to seem nonchalant. Story 71. I start to overthink when I message them a lot, and if it is love, I think about him in ways beyond the sexual a lot too. Story 72. I am interested in this more in hindsight than anything, as I am married now. In my single days, women generally fell into 3 categories. 1. Not interested at all. Never going to happen. Not interested when we first met, but interested later. Wanted to jump me in the first 10 minutes of meeting them. The third group was the most puzzling and rare, of course. It really felt like these women met me, and I immediately checked a bunch of primal boxes or something. I could never figure it out. My wife was in the second category. She actually thought I was a jerk when we first met, but we talked for a while, and 10 months later we were married. What happened? Story 73. Not a woman, but they start acting sweet and big-hearted around them, like sharing gifts. The good thing is I can vouch that no woman has ever been attracted to me. Story 74. If we're talking about physical appearance, the most common factor is when long hair suits him very well and can also be tied back while still looking good. The shortest length I like is somewhere like a mullet or the top of the shoulders. I hope everyone understands what I mean. I can provide a list of famous men who look great with long hair if anyone wishes, but note that they are all in the Korean pop industry. My number one prime example is Felix from Stray Kids. Story 75. Comments like this are so silly. Women are not a separate species. Men, how do you know when you are attracted to a woman? Exactly. Story 76. Does anyone else have the same problem with subjects? My friends and I are 15 to 16 years old, and height and future height come up several times a day, probably 3 to 10 times. It is so exhausting, but we cannot stop. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.